Hello, everyone. It's Jean with Captain Stitches, and it's tip demo time. Welcome, everyone. I see that the chat's been going on for a while, and somebody had their time mixed up this morning. We won't mention who that might be. Maybe they will tell you. But anyway, I know that Vicky Rumsey is here, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. Before the chat gets away, I want to welcome in also Michelle, of course, is here. Vicky kind of beat her to the punch this morning, and Danielle, dear daughter Danielle, is here. And Debbie, sister Debbie, hello, Debbie. She is here. She will be listening, but not chatting, but she is here. And let me see who else is in the chat. I think that may be it for now. Hello, Gisela, and thanks for the heart. It's great to see you. But first of all, Vicky, what are you doing here in the chat when you are in the hospital? You should be resting. You should be recovering. I don't know because I know you all I know is you had surgery. You haven't said, what you had done or anything, and that's all right. We just know that you are in the hospital. You are doing okay. But yeah, you should be resting, but thank you. I guess it can be a little boring in that hospital room, can't it? So it's good to see you here this morning anyway. But no mentioning any names as I'm looking away. LOL, says Danielle. That was a little bit funny. But when I first opened up to get ready for the live and I saw that live chat, I thought, oh no, have they been chatting in there all day? But no, I see that you haven't, but that was rather funny. But and Gisela says, hello, Vicky. Hope you are doing okay. And yes, have gotten a few messages from Vicky letting me know that she is doing all right. I'm sorry that I don't get to them right away, Vicky, because my business page is not one that I am really active in anymore. It is just used for some things. It's not one that I go to for messages or comments or anything like that unless I have posted something. So I do not check that. Do not get the notifications the same way that I get notifications for the Facebook group. And also, if you really want to send me a message, using Facebook Messenger is the quickest way to get in touch with me. So that will be the easiest. If not, then yeah, comment in the Facebook group, but anything that has to do with something private, always Facebook Messenger is the best place to do that, or an email. So thank you. Just a little bit of housekeeping there. Not that that's, any problem. That's okay, Vicky. Understand. I was just glad that I did get your message and knew what was going on. So that's the important thing. But just for a little, future reference, what I just went over is the best way to get in touch with me. If you have questions or any comments or anything you need me to know. And JD Susan is here this morning. I keep saying this morning because I'm used to being on in the morning. This afternoon, I'm sorry. Danielle, it's your fault. Okay, but welcome to you. And everyone is going to be saying hello to everyone. Okay, Jean. No problem. Like I said, just so you know what the easiest way to get a hold of me and in touch with me is would be through my email. That's always in the about information on my channel. A lot of times it's also in the description box or through Facebook Messenger, which if you're in the group or anything, you are able to get a hold of me that way. And Vicky, you are also a member of the channel and the Stitching Friends, so there is that chat there also. That is one that you can comment in very easily and quickly. Elaine, Three Patches of Time is here this morning. Welcome, welcome. And I do remember, and I forget who it was up earlier, and I can't scroll all that way up, but someone from Arizona is here, and I can't remember the name. But welcome to the gal in Arizona. I did see you, just forgot the name. That's clear up at the top of the chat now. Little too far to scroll up. I'd lose everything. And Danielle is gasping. Oh, I'm not sure what you're gasping at, but that's all right. It was Linda. Thank you. Yes, I knew that there was someone I was forgetting. But as the title of this live mentioned, I will be revealing and demonstrating the construction of our maze block for our block of the month 2024. And that block is called Slipknot. And those of you that are in the Facebook group, you may have noticed that it was after midnight when I already dropped the PDF for that pattern in the files section. So anyone that is doing the block of the month with us, I'm sorry, you do have to be in the Facebook group to get that information. That is where I share all the files and information and downloads for any of the quilt alongs, stitch alongs, block of the month, and such, unless it is something special, and then I will let you know how to get that information. And Gisela says, sorry, going to bed soon. Have fun. Well, thank you for popping in and saying hello, Gisela, and I hope you have a great evening's sleep. And Danielle says, I was gasping, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, we'll get that out in a minute. I was gasping about you saying you getting your time confused, being my fault. LOL, I was messing with you. Okay. Oh, yeah, that was, at least you gave me a good laugh first thing in the morning, Danielle, which that often happens with us anyway. But I am going to, let me see, add to the spotlight. And for some, oh, it's still up there. I was going to say, for some reason, it appeared that I had lost one of my cameras, but it's still up there. I see it. But this is our block of the month, Slipknot. You're seeing it at a bit of an angle there. We'll straighten that out. But that is the block that I will be showing you today. It is Maze block. The rest of the blocks I do have behind me here, hanging over the edge of the long arm, which we have starting right there. We have January's block, which I forgot to write down the names of them all. Let me see if I can remember. That's Bountiful Blessings. I do remember that one. And then the one next to it is, yeah, forgot. I just knew, but I think it's Sweetheart something. And then there is January, February, March in the middle, and April down on the end. And no, I can't remember all those names. I forgot I was going to write them down, and I forgot to do that. Was busy getting other things ready. And I will bring those up later and can hold. And well, why don't I just get that out of the way? And I'm looking to make sure that whip isn't underneath my chair. But we have January's block. We have February's block. We have the block for March. And we have the block for April, which I remember is Grandmother's Puzzle. However, did that a little bit differently because it's actually 4 of the grandmother's puzzles put into this, which makes a double, a secondary and a third way that shows up in that by putting 4 of those together. All right, I'll have to look for that, Vicky. Thank you. But I will set those off to the side. If you want to see any of them again, I can show those again later. But oh, I hate when those notifications pop up right in the way. But let's get right to, let's get the iron so it comes back on there. I am going to remove myself from the spotlight so that you can see the block better. And it looks like it could be a little bit difficult, but I guarantee you that it is not. And welcome, Mary. Oh, I remembered what it was. I'm not going to pronounce your last name. I know it's Petkowitz or something like that. Anyway, I think I was close, but welcome to you. It is great to see you again. Thank you for coming back. And Carol Rouchot is here, of course, this morning. Welcome, welcome. We have Darlene Cowham joining us this morning. I believe you must be new. I haven't seen you before anyway. And you are asking, what type of batting do you use for your hand quilting? I use various battings, but my batting of choice is Quilter's Dream Week Request. That is what I use most often for my hand quilting, Darlene. I will also use Hobbs Heirloom when I can find that. And those, yeah, those are about the two that I use most frequently for hand quilting. Okay, but I'm going to remove that out of my way for right now. And you will see that I do have a portion of this already pieced together, but the parts that are missing are so that I can show you each section and how that is put together. So we will also move that out of the way for now, and you will see that down here I have the parts laid out as you will find in your pattern. And you will find that the easiest way to do these, and as you look, you can see that right here, it shows the first step that you are going to do, which is right here laid out exactly the way that it shows it on the instructions. And then over here is the second step laid out exactly the same way, and so on and so on. That we put this section together first. This gets added onto that section. Then after we have the parts that we need up here made, they get added onto the section down here and this section. And then we will be sewing those all together into the block. But I have that set off to the side so that I can see that. So the first thing that and all the cutting, all the fabric requirements and the cutting instructions are included in the PDF, and that I do not, of course, show how to do. I take it that you already know how to cut out your fabrics. So, and Darlene says, thank you. I have been here before, just don't usually say anything. Okay, sorry, but we are going to take, and I'm going to take my labels off of those. And of course, I better turn on the sewing machine and add that in, or you won't be able to see me stitching these. But I am going to take and I'm going to flip the dark over on both of those half square triangles and bring them over to the sewing machine and stitch those together. And good thing I looked, because I hadn't adjusted to have it set up exactly the way that I want it. I did. Oh, that was one thing. I also want, it's tip demo time. So I did want to also throw in a quick little tip, which it is the 1st of May, May Day. And with it being a new month, if you haven't, now is the time to clean the bobbin area in your sewing machine, change your needle if you haven't changed it for a while, do just some routine maintenance on your sewing machine. And I did clean my bobbin case out, wound some more bobbins, and am all ready. So everything should work this morning correctly. I hope I forgot to test it after cleaning that out. So we shall soon find out. And good afternoon to you, Gladys. The Confident Quilter is also here. And Terry is here. Good afternoon, Jean and friends, she says. And Mary says, have a great day, everyone. Just wanted to stop in and say hi. Just got home, so I'm going to sit down and watch you on the TV. Well, hey, you get to see us on the big screen. No problem, Mary. Thank you for letting me know that you are here. And if you have any question, you can always just pop back in and ask that. Okay, thought I saw something move there, but we are going to stitch these, making sure that the iron is still on. And I'm just chain piecing these, which when you're doing the block, you would go ahead and chain piece all of your half square triangles at the same time. Just so that we could save time and you don't have to watch me make all of those half square triangles. I did those prior to coming on to show this demonstration on our block. Now I'm going to take these over, and I know you can't see me press, but you all know how to press. I'm going to press those towards the dark. And then I will be right back with you to show you how you square those and trim those to size. Oh, if we scoot this over a little farther, I'll be able to scoot this over here. And just so you can see this better, I'm going to remove this for a second so that we can see better. But we have both of our half square triangles now that I just did. And we need to trim those so that they measured the 2 inches exactly. So I am going to take what I use the most for square up ruler is this little Creative Grids one. It is a what does that measure? It measures 4.5 by 4.5, and it is one that I got free in someplace, and I just keep it in my drawer handy, and that is the one I use, and I'm lining that up with that diagonal going across the middle of that half square triangle. And making sure I have everything in here correctly. Oops, I'd have helped to open the rotary cutter first. Iron's making funny noise over there. We gotta stop that. And it's not going to. There it did. Okay. Okay, so I've got that. I'm just going to take and I'm going to trim any excess that's on those 2 sides. Then you take this top point up here, opposite of what you did, and bring that down to the bottom. And then you put your ruler on there again with the diagonal going across the diagonal of the half square triangle, lining these, this side and this side right here is what I am lining up right now. And then we will go down both of these sides, and there was only the little tips to cut off there. So that now is squared up to 2 inches, and I'm going to do the same with this one. Which, if you had your scant 1/4 inch and everything done correctly, you shouldn't have hardly anything to trim off there. But you see, there's just that that little sliver that came off there, but it will make a difference if you don't square them up. And now we are going to take them and we are going to place that over in this section is where the two go that was left to be done on yet. I'm going to close my rotary cutter. And I'm going to make sure that I have that in the correct orientation so that it is sewn correctly when we get to that portion. And black is down. Okay. So that is done and in place. The next thing that we have is the little flying goose, since we only have one left to do up here. But we are going to bring that down, and these are going to be flipped and sewn on there one at a time, and then pressed open, and then the other side and pressed open. So we will take that to the sewing machine, and we will bring that back in. So I am just doing one side of this first. Make sure that you have that all lined. Where am I? There we are. All lined up correctly. Flip it under the sewing machine, and I do use a scant 1/4 inch. The way that I do that is I just adjust my needle over and use my 1/4 inch foot, and I know that it is a scant. Scant 1/4 inch. The reason that we do that is because when you flip and press this, it takes up a little bit of that, just a couple threads of that fabric, and that scant is just a couple threads over, so it allows for that and makes your block come out correctly. But we are going to press that and then add the other side. I'm not going to trim that yet. So now, get it in view. Now I am going to take the other side and line that all up, which, sorry, I need to do that with my fingers to make sure that it is exactly where it needs to go. And I am going to sew it. And when you get down here to where that's sticking out, you want to make sure that you don't catch that and pull it over. So I just kind of hold it with my finger there so it stays in place as it's going underneath the machine. And now we're going to press that out towards the wing of the goose. And now we are going to straighten the edge on that. Whoopsie. Open it up. By taking off, I already know from sewing the others that this is the size that it needs to be. So I am just clipping off the little dog ears. Bunny tail, whatever you call yours. And this is going to go with that part right there. So the only other part that we have is we are going to go ahead and piece our center square in a square is what this would be called. And to do that, we sew the top and the bottom on first. The way to do that is we are going to fold this in half, and we are going to give that a little pinch so that we know where that fold is. I'm going to set that off to the side. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. so that we can center those. If I can get it up here, do that. Which it just needs to be a little pinch. You don't need to do that with your iron or anything. You just need to know where that middle is to line them up. And now I'm going to lay that right on there where I just folded both of them. And you can test, make sure you have it there by when you fold it, they'll both come up very easily. And we're doing one side at a time on this. And Jim is with us this morning. Good morning to you. And Christine is here also. Good afternoon. I'm sorry. Good afternoon to both of you. And Danielle says that she loves the fabrics. Thank you. They are, yeah, of course, Civil War reproduction fabrics. I'm using kind of a mixture, but all the ones that are in the block this time, yeah, are, except for the black one. That little black one that, and it's got a little goldish brown dot on that you can't see. That is not Civil War production. And I don't have to worry, these aren't going to touch. Just making sure that I have those centers lined up, and I don't have that one lined up, I can tell. There we go. Which when you have it lined up, that point's going to be right on the line of the other one that you had. But I'm going to take and I'm going to sew the other side now. And we are going to press those out away from the middle square. So that you have your piece that looks like that. And now we're going to add on both the other sides. So before I do that, I am also going to fold this, mark that center, the same way that we did the other. Iron likes to keep putting the steam off in between sometimes. At which I'm playing with trying to get to stop right now, but oops. And I did fold that. It helps. We are not trimming those yet. Okay, iron. It's not going to cooperate with me today. All right, if it runs out of steam, it runs out of steam. Not concerned with that, but I'm just kind of laying those there for right now. Oops, always go the wrong way. So now I am going to stitch these the same way that I did the top and the bottom. And again, I'm going to hold that down so it doesn't catch and slip out of there. We're going to take the other side and do it exactly the same way. And we now have a little dog right underneath my feet. So that is what that looks like after that stitch. And I am going to press these both out this direction also. Good. Someone must be trimming a tree outside. And we are going to see. It does not tell us exactly. Whoa, come here. What the size of this is going to be, but I can kind of tell by looking here, and I can tell that it's supposed to be 3.5. So that is what I am trimming that to. Don't leave it there. And it didn't quite cut that little edge there. And again, take that top corner, put it in the bottom corner when you do your other. There I am. And we have that center section ready to go. So now we have all those. Well, no, we have to sew them together yet. I was going to say we have the missing pieces, but now we need to sew the 3. We sewed this section together. We have this section, which this goes on to that, also comes over and goes with that. And we have this to sew together. And these are just my labels for when I was cutting the pieces off. I no longer need those. So I can remove those. What is everyone working on this afternoon, says Danielle. And Terry is here. Welcome, welcome, Terry. And Katie with the Greenland Quilter is here. Hello, it's great to see you, Katie. Y'all smash that thumbs up like button. Yeah, don't smash it. We don't want to break it, Katie. Let's tickle it. No, I'm just kidding with you. But yeah, don't forget that thumbs up. Much appreciated. Thank you, Katie, for reminding everyone. So the first thing, and I'm going to slide this over so you can see that better. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to flip that together on that section and sew that seam and not run over the dog with the chair, which I hope he didn't just lay on top of my foot pedal. But if when you are sewing your seams, if you sew it with the section on top that you are going to press it to, it is all ready to go when you take it over to your ironing board to press. And I am going to go ahead and do a little chain piecing and put these, the 2 half square triangles I am going to stitch together also. Make sure that we have those lined up correctly. And now, if you don't want to, you don't have to cut that little piece between there. You can go ahead and you can finger press that seam. And then you just want to take this one the opposite direction, finger press it, and then we can go ahead and butt those seams together and piece that final seam on this part of the block. Always flip to make sure I've got things right before I take it back to stitch the seam. We always say, measure twice, cut once. Same applies to when you're getting ready to sew your block. Check it twice, sew that seam once. Less dates with Jack, as you would say. Okay. And that seam wants to kind of lay up that way, so I'm just going to let it lay that way. And now we have the dog right underneath my chair. Whip, you're going to have to move, buddy. Oh, I was going to show them to you, but I don't have that camera on. We'll show them to you in a little bit. Okay, so now we'll lay that back over. And this piece right here now needs to be flipped over on top of that. All right, somebody is coming, and so we are going to very quickly. Okay, since he is right here trying to get up in my lap, we will let him say hello and put him back down. But here is Whip, everyone, making his self known and that he is here. And I am not the chew toy, remember that. But this is Whip, capital W, capital I, capital P. Yes, it is the quilting term for work in progress. And Whip is a miniature golden doodle. And he is living up to his name. He is definitely a work in progress. But he spends his day out here in the stitching cottage with me, and Stitches spends most of her day in the house with her daddy. But she was out here for quite a while this afternoon, so they were getting a little bit more acclimated together. They're getting better at it, but still do better separated. All right, get in your bed. Now he's going to come right back, but I'm not going to, I'm not going to let him up here. And I am going to remove the spotlight there and get back to sewing our block. If Whip will let me. Down. Okay. So now we are going to take and we are going to sew on the other section to this step. And because we squared everything up as we went along, it all fits beautifully. And I am going to flip and press that section out. And that. Turn that for you. Is that section. And I'm going to give that a press before we lay it down there since it was all finger pressed. We are going to put that where it would show that it is in the steps in your this section right here where I showed you that I laid it out exactly as it showed in your directions for putting that block together. That is how we are doing that. And Danielle says, hey, my little brother. Jim says he's adorable. No, it is a he. Whip is a he. Stitches is a she. We have one male, one female. Stitches is a miniature schnauzer. She is inside. Oh yes, and let me tell you, he looks twice the size of what he really is because he is all fur. But yep, Whip is a boy. He's definitely a boy. Okay, so we have our flying geese unit up there. We need to sew our half square triangles together. So I'm going to flip those both over on top of each other, keep them in order, and bring them over here to the sewing machine and chain piece those. And remember, we also squared these up so they fit very nicely together. You want to make sure that when you When you lay them out, you have them going the way the diagram shows, or you won't be happy in the end. And once again, I'm just going to finger press these. Bring the other one the opposite direction that I pressed the top one. Bring that down. Oops. Just slip my thumb in there and butt those seams together because it's that only that one. I don't have to be concerned with pinning it. I can hold that with my finger until I get there. Do want to make sure that I have this lined up down here also though. And yeah, we're gonna go that way. And I'm just finger pressing for right now also on that one. And you want to double check, make sure that you just laid it down in the correct position also. And I do have it going correctly. I'm going to flip that down on there. That's the next part that goes on to this section. This is a pattern by Patchwork Square. And I have to tell you, the way that they have this one, and tell me, those of you that do cotton cuts, if you don't agree with me, except for the parts not being pre-cut. And if I remove this one for a second, it will bring that in a little closer for you to see. But if that does not remind you of the way that cotton cuts kind of lays theirs out section by section by section by section, you know, very, very similar to the way cotton cuts lays their instructions out is what I find anyway. But let me bring the sewing machine back in. There we are. And we are ready to sew this part on. But any of you that do cotton cuts, did you see a resemblance in that? Don't know if. Oh, no. Okay. And I am going to press that towards the flying geese. And I forgot to bring this back in. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? All right, there we are. So now I am going to bring this section down that we had to start with. I'm going to pick these up because now we are going to place these where they belong in the quilt, which we know that center one goes right in that center. And I need to look at my layout to make sure that I get the other part. The one with the flying geese goes down here in the middle of the bottom. And let me see which direction this goes. We've got something laying wrong. What do we have laying wrong? long. Or did I sew it on the wrong end? You know what? I must have sewn that onto the wrong side because as you notice, this one is not going where it's supposed to go, no matter which way I turn that. It is supposed to, because the long edge, it shows on the bottom. Wait a minute, no. I sewed it on the wrong side, evidently. And we did not catch that. So now I need to look up here and see what did I do wrong. Oh, 1, 2. I sewed this portion was supposed to be down on the bottom of the red, not this lengthwise. So I have to take this apart and redo it. So, well, how are we doing for time? I am going to, there we go. Well, I take this apart so that we can do it correctly. And I think I was talking about, check it twice before you do the stitching. And then you don't have to get jack out. But hey, mistakes happen. Now we will correct the mistake and hopefully not sew it together wrong twice. But of course, we have to take 2 parts out to get to that. But rather obvious when I went to lay it there that, oh, that's not going to go together right. Did anybody see that? And they just wanted to wait and watch me catch it. Yes, mine is Josephine. My seam ripper is not Jack. Mine is Josephine. Okay, there we go. Got that. Pull that side all in one. Yes, we made a mistake. We made a big mistake. I guess I didn't get those stitches out there. Get all those little threads off there. Press that back down. Whoops. Flat. I'm gonna lay it here in front of me, the correct. I can't find you. We're way over here. Gonna lay that back down in the correct position. See, this piece was supposed to go down here instead. That is where the mistake was made. So now I have to take that portion off also. And I'm checking to see which is my top thread and which is my bottom thread because that's the easiest way to unstitch a seam. By using the beige thread in the top and gray thread in the bottom, I always know which is my top thread, which is my bobbin thread. And then on the top, I can just go about every 4 or 5 stitches, take a stitch out on that top side. I tried using one of those shavers. That didn't work too well for me. Now on the other side, all I have to do is pull that up, grab that thread, give it a pull. It all comes out in one piece. And of course, where we chain piece that, we do have to take that apart. Okay. And I'm going to get those little threads off there as best I can. We are going to turn it. Look at our diagram again. I know you can't see that. Those of you that already printed your pattern off may have that in front of you. And I know that there's a delay in the chat. So had you seen it, you wouldn't have been able to tell me quick enough anyway. You would have all been going in the chat. No, Jean, the other way. But And there is Sister Debbie again. Welcome, welcome. And so with Debbie is also here. Hello, hello to you. You came in just in time to see me correct the mistake that I made. And I'm making sure that I have it correct. Which one am I on? Okay. I'm on that one. Look at the correct section before we sew that back together again. So now we will add in the sewing machine. And now we have it laid out the correct way for that portion of it. So I am going to flip this up and I'm going to check again just to make sure. And we are going to sew it on the correct end of that this time. Oops, didn't already have the needle in there, pulled it away. There we go. Thought somebody was cutting down a tree, but I think it's a little mini scooter motorbike or something that somebody's riding up and down the road out there instead. So now we have that piece. I know it looks like it's on the top to you, but that's on the bottom. Slide it over a little. And now this section, I am going to piece back on to here. And I'm going to check and make sure that I have that all going the correct direction before I do that. And it is. So this time when we lay it on there, it should go on correctly. You won't have to turn it every which way but loose, trying to figure out why is it not lining up. And I will finger press that first over. Give it a quick press over here. Two. We're going to replace the spotlight. Now we have the test. Here is our section down here. Now when I lay it there, it all comes together. And looks just like our pattern, which is called the slip knot. So those are all of the sections of our block. And if you want me to, we will go ahead and this top section is what you sew together first, and then you sew the middle section, and then you sew the bottom section all together, and then sew those together, of course, as you go. And we are close to the 1 hour, so just let me know. I don't think that and G&B is here also this morning. Good morning to you. I don't think that you need me to sew those sections together. I think you can figure that part out. But I went through every single, we had this section that we needed to sew, this section that we needed to sew, which we made 4 of these. We made 4 of these. I know we only made 1 on camera, but there are 4 of them total. And we made 1 of these. Those are the 3 sections to the quilt. Of course, we had to make, first we had to make 12 of these half square triangles, and we had to make 8 of those half square triangles, and we had to make 4 of our flying geese. And those are how they all came together into the sections then. And it makes a beautiful slip knot. Of course, down here, somebody didn't know how to tie their knot at first, and they had to go back and figure out how to tie that knot. So we do have a complete slip knot there now. But I am going to now. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry about that. There we go. Now I am back. And you can hold that up this way so you can see that, yes, it is right there. And for those of you that may have popped in late, I will show you the previous month's blocks. This is backwards now. But flip them upside down, it'll be correct. This is January's block. I do not have the embroidered stems done on that block yet. I totally forgot about it, to be honest. I need to do that before I set that back. But this is January's block. It is called Bountiful Blessings. I remember the name of that one. And I do believe that February is called Sweetheart. But that is February's block. And this is March. The block for March. I cannot recall the name on that one. I'm sorry. I meant to write those down before the live and got busy and totally forgot. And this was April's block, which is a variation of Grandmother's Puzzle. It is 4 smaller sections of Grandmother's Puzzle put together into one large block, which then causes the effect to have the shoe fly in the middle, and then it forms a star going around the outer part, which this little corner up here, if I fold this, I can show you what the original block is. That is the actual block. That is the Grandmother's Puzzle. And when put together in the 4 sections, that is what you get instead. So there you have it. We have May's block for all of you that were very patiently waiting for it to come out, which this is the 1st of May, so right on time for that. And I know that I previously said, and that was before I started doing the tip demos on Wednesday, that the block of the months would always come out on the 1st Friday of the month. They will come out on the 1st Wednesday of the month because I will always do them during its tip demo time. So you will know exactly when those blocks come out and are released. And if you are wondering where you get the information for that block, it is included in the files section of my Facebook group. So if you are not a member of that Facebook group, you will need to request to join. That is always where all the information for all my quilt alongs, stitch alongs, block of the month, anything that I release, that is where you get the information for that. My Facebook group does coincide with my YouTube channel. And it is Captain Stitches and Friends is the name of that that Facebook group. And it, like I said, is in the description box. It's on my YouTube channel about information. You can find it all there. And I want to make sure that I did not. I always love me some scrappy. Yes. Yes, these are scrappy blocks. I do have an array of fabrics that I'm pulling from, so there is some consistency throughout, and you will notice that every one of my blocks does have that black in it somewhere. Not always the same black fabric, but it does incorporate black so that it will tie them all together that way by using a variety of fabrics also. But totally, totally scrappy. And I don't think I see any other questions or comments. Vicki is doing a bit better today. Thank you for asking, which we yeah, I already went through that with you, Vicki, but I know someone else is asking at this point in time that wasn't here in the beginning, so that is quite all right. But thank you, Mona says pretty block, and Terry says they are all beautiful. Thank you, thank you. And Debbie says doesn't even need the stems. Looks pretty. Thank you, but I will be adding those in, of course. So, and I don't know if you If you noticed, we will bring that back up and bring it a little closer. That is actually wool applique on that corner. And so, but there you have it. Thank you everyone for joining me this afternoon for It's Tip Demo Time. I hope that you enjoyed this demonstration of the construction portion of our block of the month for May, the slip knot. And I will see you all again Friday morning for Stitch Tips and Chat. And guess what I'll be working on? I will be working on the quilts for the doggies, the puppies. I have received that fabric and I have decided on a pattern. Started yeah, started getting it ready to cut out before coming on for this live. So that is what I will be putting together on Friday's Stitch Tips and Chat. So see you all then. In the meantime, everyone have a great day and please be productive in some way. If it's just 1 or 2 stitches, do a little stitching today. Do it in your happy place. And remember, as always, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone.